welcome to Sports Counsel, your playbook for all things sports. I am your host Matt, and I'm here with G and special guest Gemmar for this episode of the show. On today's episode of the show, we're talking about a very important part of fantasy football, trades. We share our tips on what kind of players to trade for, favorite players to buy and sell, and answer some of our listeners' biggest trade questions. Plus, we recap a wild Week 6 in fantasy football and reveal our starts and sits for Week 7. Today is October 14th, 2025, and this is episode 191 of the show. Welcome back, Gemmar, to the show. How are y'all doing, man?
Good to be back. Caught me on a good week. We're on the come up right now.
Chargers? Or fantasy?
Oh, both. Chargers. We got injured players coming back. And then my team's finally performing. So we're on the rise right now. We're like the Bears, progressing.
Damn. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Ever since I trashed the Bears on this podcast, I think they haven't lost a game since. So you're welcome, Chicago.
I feel like that's how it usually goes, isn't it? Whenever you trash a team, they turn into gods.
Yeah,
bullying works.
Must
bully
be
a
me.
Team, they perform.
Well, we got a packed agenda today. We are Sports Counsel, and G, where can the people find Sports Counsel at?
I would love to tell the people where they can find us. So we're Sports Counsel. You can find us on all your major social media platforms: Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. We're on all of them. If there's others that I didn't name, we're probably on those too. And it's easy. Our handle for all of them is sports_counsel. One more time for the people in the back that couldn't hear me: sports_counsel on all your favorite social medias. And then the best part is, if that's not enough for you, you want more Sports Counsel, you got more questions for Sports Counsel, go join our Discord. Our Discord is free. It's in the link of all our social media bios. Go join. Come on, talk to us on there. It's even better. You can ask different questions, get to just see what other people are asking. It's the best place to talk to us. We're excited to have that, and it's been our best platform so far. So come join. Follow us on all of your social medias. It's all free. We're not charging you anything. So what else could you want, right? More Sports Counsel? Sign me up.
Yep, sports_counsel on all platforms. Discord, love the conversations we get in there. Gets interesting sometimes. Sometimes even I need advice in there, so I've been asking a couple of questions in there. Yeah, join the conversation. All right, well, this is our Listener League recap for Week 6, and we brought Gemmar on for a very special purpose. It's to recap this week in fantasy football. Understand if you're not a part of the Listener League, you can skip ahead maybe 15 minutes in, but it's always going to be very exciting. And we got some very interesting results that happened in this week's fantasy football. So why don't you take it away, Gemmar?
All right. Here we go, guys. So coming up with this first matchup, we got Bareface 17, Whole Lot of Baby Mamas versus Mini Whoop'em in a close matchup with Whole Lot of Baby Mamas beating King Mitty with 112.94 and Mitty's 105.48. Fairly close, probably came down to Monday night. Shout out to Bijan.
Bijan, Don Juan, RB1 season. I love it, Dylan. I love Bijan. That 81-yard touchdown. It won me a fantasy football game, and it definitely won Dylan against the best team right now in Mitty. And Mitty's Puka also got hurt, so definitely tough for him.
Yeah, fuck Mitty. I wasn't here last week.
Brother, take it. I ate this last week. I forgot.
Yeah, you got banned from the show.
I got sent on PTO. When you have too much PTO, they send you on vacation. That's what happened. They sent my ass out of here for the week.
Like Kawhi.
Yeah, right. I was planting trees with Kawhi.
All right. On to the next matchup, we got Team Nando losing with a 104.86 to Josh .0 with his 119.20.
Yeah,
very, very convincing win.
Nando had a chance. He had a chance. Josh Jacobs had 32 points for him, but everybody on his team underperformed. Calvin Ridley out. Kyle Pitts nothing. Bo Nix 13. James Cook 8. I mean, Josh didn't even. He usually is our highest scorer, but he only scored less than 120. But it sucks. Almost had him.
Yeah, I mean, that's another decent matchup, I guess.
All right. And then we got yours truly, 4 Down Syndrome, with a whopping 150.72, beating J-Rocks, E-Kittens, 109.964. Shout out to my boys, Cam Scatabo, CTE, and shout out to Cameron Dicker, man, making all his kicks in the clutch the whole game. We needed all that. Chargers fan over here needed that all day.
31 for Scattaboo. Oh my god. Ridiculous.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but hey, man, they won you this week, so that's good. That's all that matters, right?
Hey, he needs that guardian cap, though. He needs that for sure.
I don't think he knows what that is.
His guardian cap should have a guardian cap.
The double pack that.
He needs to have one inside his helmet and he needs one outside of his helmet. You saw what he was doing. Like you saw that viral video of him at ASU. He's like hitting the
banging
wall.
his head on the wall.
Yeah.
He wants the CTE.
He's like accepting it. He's opening it with he's inviting it with open arms.
Yeah. Oatmeal brain by 28.
All right. And then if you thought 150 was a good score, we got Bryant with his first win of the season.
Wow.
He did it.
Yeah,
Bryant.
Let's go.
Bryant. Congrats.
Oh
man.
my God.
Congrats. Winless no more.
Everybody is a winner in our league at least once.
Yes, sir. We got a Bryant's team 2026 waiting room with a 152.74 beating Celtics 110.16. Breakout game for Drake London.
Yeah, man. 31 points for Drake London. Funniest part about this is that the one time Bryant actually wins a game, he can't make it to the show. We sent him off to Albania to do some marketing and promotion for Sports Counsel because Albania is an untapped market right now. So he is going to be gone for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we sent him on a quote-unquote vacation.
Yeah. So I think he's celebrating right now. He said, I win. I'm going to go out on vacation. That's it for me. I'm going to take some PTO.
I respect that. I'd probably do the same, but, we'll get to it.
Celebrate right in Albania, Bryant. Have a great time.
Yeah.
All right. And then for our next matchup, a little personal, we have one of the co-hosts, Women Respecters, losing against my dear friend, Gav, the better Women Respecters, in a close matchup with Gav winning 144.10 versus G's 141.70.
I got nothing to say, man. Nothing at all. I lost to the only two people in the league I didn't want to lose to, and it is what it is. Shout out to Gav. He's probably listening. The things I want to tell Gav, I will not say on this podcast, as we will probably not be a podcast next week. So, good job, Gav. That's all I got to say.
I like how he hasn't said anything in the group chat yet. Not even yet. But immediately, so the thing is, it came down to the wire on Monday Night Football. I think G needed 9-10 points from Corey Krosky-Merritt, right, to win?
Yeah, I needed 9 or 8.5 or something.
Yeah, and it's that seems like a layup, right? And it's like a 60% win chance. But he fumbled, obviously, in the rain. They kind of benched him for a little bit, and then he just never really got it going. The moment the game ended, Gav changing his name, he's changing all the nicknames to everything. His initial name, I think, was something like, this whole team should unalive itself or something like that? Yeah, exactly. So negative energy. It seems to work right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys want some negativity? I can give you some. Fuck you, Gav. That's the nicest thing I can say to Gav right now.
Maybe that will bring Gav back to the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I don't even want him. He's fucking retired.
Oh man. All right, and then we got our last matchup of the day. We got fellow host Matt, the YMC3, younger than ever,
Yes, sir.
with the highest score of 169.04, beating GMC3, garbage than ever, resident listener, Ugly Kid, with his 106.94, having a rough season.
First of all, McYoungboy, Ugly Kid, love the name. Love that you mirrored me. I was laughing about that. You
I don't
didn't
think
have...
he was laughing.
Well, it was funny. It was a funny name. I mean, you get
No,
props
no,
for
I
that,
know,
at least.
I know, I
I'd
know,
give you
I
10
know.
extra
It's a good
points for
name.
that.
Oh wow, that's just fucked up, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, I was kind of panicking at first because I didn't have a lot of players. Like Pearsall was out, Benson was out, Hampton was out, and then I think 10 minutes before the game, it's like I heard a report that Schefter said Michael Carter wasn't the starter anymore. I was pissed off, so I had to swap him. But I mean, whole team did great, firing on all cylinders. What can I say? Love to see it.
Yeah, it must be nice.
I know, right?
It's really nice, G. It really is.
I'm on a 2-game skid here, man.
All right, speaking of skids and streaking,
Wait a
and
second.
what? We're gonna go over the standings right now with the whole listener league. So bringing up the rear, we have Ugly Kid coming up 1-5, same as Bryant getting his first win. That they make up the 11-12 seed. We got Gav at the 10 with 2-4, same as J Rock Eakins. Then we got a bunch of teams going 3-3, including myself, Celtics, and Team Nando that round up the 6, 7, 8 spots. Then we also have a whole pack of teams going 4-2. G, Matt, Bareface, and King Mitty rounding up 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we got the lonesome top seed, Josh.O, with a record of 5-1 at the top.
I gotta face him next week.
Please beat him.
It's like a clusterfuck, like from 2 to 8, 1 loss, 1 win, anything can happen.
And that's why you don't give up. Even Bryant and Ugly Kid, they're only 2 games back, technically, so anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, some of us can't get a win right now, so that's fucking wonderful.
Lock in, G. Lock in.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish,
Exactly.
as some might say.
Honestly, you're the defending champ. I feel like I don't need to encourage you or anything.
I understand that, but also, like, it's very frustrating losing to Midi and then the next week losing to Gav. That's all. That's it. Like, if they were spaced out,
It's like
Sure,
two
that
division
would've
rivals and their
Yeah.
fans are talking shit to you.
quite literally,
Yes.
that's all.
And I mean, you're lucky Gav's not on the podcast. It would be 2 straight recaps of, you know.
2 straight.
It's only so many podcast episodes I can miss, right?
Exactly. Well, I was the high scoring topic for this week. And I decided we would just make this one short and sweet, very simple. I'm going to pose a hypothetical for you guys to discuss. You are going on a first date. Your date wants to go to a sporting event and has never been to one. They don't have a favorite team. What is the best sport to take them to and why? For a first date, guys.
Yeah, personally, I'm going to pick baseball here. It's a good vibe. I mean, especially because we're in the Bay Area here. We get the Giants, which is a beautiful stadium and an even better vibe. So you can get to, you're obviously still on a date, right? So you can have that kind of, not much going on in the game. You have a lot of conversation, get to know the person. But then also it's a beautiful stadium. There's good food. There's good vibes. There's stuff to do around the stadium after, before. You can, get to know them. And if they don't like it, then they're a fucking loser, because who doesn't like going to a baseball game? You don't need to be a baseball fan to like going to a baseball game. That is like a very, very fair point. And then also, if the date sucks and she sucks, but I just said she doesn't like it, she's a loser. Maybe you only spent $5 on your ticket. So, what am I about to take her to, like a basketball game? Like I said, we live in the Bay Area. I'm not spending $200 for you to go to the Warrior game on my first date with you. Like,
Yeah, okay.
no way. No
Whoa.
fucking way.
Hey, hey.
We had a debate, I think, a couple episodes ago about America's favorite pastime. And I reacted strongly to that. I think in terms of like pastime, yes, I think a lot of people like going on dates on baseball because it's just very easy to pass the time at a baseball stadium because it's cheap. You're kind of watching a sport, and it's just like you're outdoors. It's the summer usually, so it's like it's nice out. That was very close to my answer, G. I thought about baseball, but then I thought, there's a lot of time where there's no sport at all going on, and I feel like that's not a lot of entertainment. And it's like 3 hours at least for like if you're going at the start of the game to the ninth inning.
I was going to make that point too.
Yeah,
it's not
like
that
3
long
hours.
nowadays. It's not that long, and also if the game sucks, you can always leave, and it's like you don't have any like real tie to the game because it's just baseball. It's 160 of them anyways. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think they care about the rooting of the team. It's like, yeah, you can root for the team, but it's more like, what are you gonna do sitting there for like 3 hours? That's the thing. Like you kind of want to have a little bit more engagement in the activity you're doing. So I personally thought basketball was the best one. I chose basketball. It's easy to understand. First of all, you just shoot through hoops, and that's easy. Like baseball, that's the same, but also, there's a little bit of nuance to it. Football, ridiculous. You can't take anyone to a football game because if they've never seen the sport before, never heard of it, I think it's too complicated to understand. So basketball, it's easy. You can do the same things. You can get, a snack, a bite to eat. Yeah, you can tour the stadium. There's usually stuff going on. There's also so many breaks and commercial breaks and whatever, so you can use that time to talk to your date during all those little breaks. And there's also like little activities that happen. You can get the t-shirt grab. You can get whatever, like the swag that they shoot from the, crowd. And if you get it, you give it to your girl. Very easy brownie points right there.
All right, Matt, fine. You can take me out on a baseball game or a basketball game. It's fine.
Oh, and also the cheap part. Just go to a Valkyries game. Easy.
They're not cheap, though. They're not cheap.
You also get women respect brownie points there, too. Huh?
Yeah, that's great, but like they're not cheap. Nothing at Chase Center is cheap.
Nah, I've been there. They have a great stadium over there. And like the outdoors area, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, Chase Center. Okay, fine. We'll watch outside the Chase Center. How's that?
That's also
now I'm like, damn, bro, this man broke ass just took me to a fucking date. He can't even get me inside the stadium.
You don't need to be inside the stadium to enjoy it. It's like the baseball thing. It's like nice vibes or whatever.
I mean, it is nice vibes. Don't get me mistaken. Get some Senior Seasick right outside the stadium. That shit's delicious.
Dude, I'll set up a picnic blanket or whatever. There you go.
That's cute. All right, Matt. I like it. We can do it.
Okay.
All right.
I'll hit you up later.
Oof. I feel like my topic, like my sport, is so out of left field. Like, hear me out.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I would take her to a UFC fight.
Wow. Interesting.
Hear me out. Like,
okay.
Look, this is like we're talking about main event, talking about top of the notch fighters. Like we got.
Like you're taking her to that UFC fight at the White House.
Oh, most definitely. Yes, most definitely. Octagon. Like, it's just pure entertainment. It's fast paced. It's just nonstop. Your eyes are always watching on the octagon where both of you are like engaged, and it's fighting. Everybody, that's the most entertaining thing that you could see and watch is two people fight. You get knocked out, get submitted. I feel like and like the crowd is always like into the fights. They're always like cheering the wrestlers. You even got like politicians watching. You got celebrities watching. You got everybody watching, and you're just part of it, part of the whole like atmosphere. She might be into fighting now, and now you'll be like, when's the next fight we're gonna go to?
I mean, why can't I just go to like a back alley or something? Like I can just go to SF, like
What
right
the
outside
fuck
the
are you
Chase
guys
Center.
doing?
You said watch a fight. You said watch a fight.
I think you meant like more of like a
Let me go to the Rite
fight.
Aid or whatever. And, like,
Rite Aid. Go to my local bar and start instigating.
Exactly. If you win, that's more attractive, I guess. But but I've never heard of that before. But I think a lot of people go to the UFC fights. I've never even I barely watch UFC personally. So
Yeah, I never thought about taking a date to a UFC fight, but I guess it is kind of interesting Maybe if it like really works out, you guys can fight afterwards. You know what I mean?
We could like try on submission moves. Be like, you want to try that one move that we saw, and then you submit
Put her in a little arm bar, snap her arm, and be like, ha ha ha,
Yeah.
that's so fun.
Put her,
Well,
put her in one of those like chokeholds that like you're on her back, and then
Whoa,
we're getting into an interesting direction that I'm gonna take us away from.
This is your topic. What did you want?
I think our topic.
What do you
has
think's gonna
expired.
happen? What do you think is
it
gonna
has
happen when you
expired.
take me on this picnic, Matt? Like, do
put,
you
put her in
think
a
that
rear
like
naked choke. You already know what happens.
No, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. No, thank you.
I'm gonna
But-
try these moves on you on our little picnic date in front of the
What-
Chase Center, Matt?
Our date is canceled then.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
But I like the uniqueness of the sport. I was trying to get at least one non-traditional sport in there, so that's actually a good argument there, Gemmar.
Oh yeah.
All right, that is our listener league topic for today. Thought that was a good one. It was
Yeah,
kinda
it was interesting.
adding on to that worst first dates one. So I guess we're getting a lot into love lives this year.
That's what the people want,
Yep,
is to hear our fantasy football nerds talk about dating.
yep. Dating advice and now trading advice. See what I did there?
Ooh, that was good. That was good.
And we're not talking
Smooth-ass
about money.
transition. No, we're not talking about money. We are talking about fantasy football trades. We haven't gotten an episode this season on this, but trades are just as important as the waiver wire. It's just as important as drafting your team. It's the third possible way to get talent for your team, and it's hard sometimes to make a trade because one, it feels like you're alone in kind of that decision, and when it's just up to you and you get the offer and it's like, wow, I don't know what to do with this. You really should get some advice from everybody else in order to kind of make sure. And unlike your league mates, we are completely unbiased and neutral to your situation. So that's why we're going to be taking a couple of trade questions today and kind of giving our process and kind of our perception on a couple of these players here.
Right, and I would like to tell the people that this is kind of the process of what you'll see when you send us a tweet, when you message us on Discord. This is kind of what it looks like. Obviously, we're doing it live. We're doing it kind of free balling today, but it's very similar fashion as when you tweet us or you send us a message on Instagram or you go on our Discord and ask, best place to find us. You'll get the same level of attention that we're about to give, to these next few trades here.
Yeah. So we're going to combine two of these topics here, kind of the strategy on what kind of players you're looking for in a trade, as well as the trade targets or trade away candidates. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a player and we're going to kind of describe why exactly we want to trade for or trade away for that player. And that kind of will show the process that we're thinking about when it comes to trading. So I'm going to start off here with the trade target that I have. So I think one of the players that I'm looking for in a trade, and I think the biggest thing that you should be looking for is present day performance is the worst thing that you could do in order to make a perception about a trade. Everything should be future facing. And I know that's scary because obviously you have the numbers right now. You have the production right now. And you'd rather trade for something that is the case right now. But a lot about fantasy football, and the biggest thing that people fall face to is the fact that fantasy football is so unpredictable, and usually the people who are looking more future facing ends up winning, right? Like last year, Zach Moss was the starter for the Cincinnati Bengals as the running back for like maybe 6 to 8 weeks, right? And he was drafted high. Chase Brown was basically nobody, right? But who ended up winning at the end of that season? Chase Brown. He was the league winner because he eventually ascended to the throne after, Zach Moss's injury, but also his very good production. So you got to find those players that you think will take a leap at the end of the season. And that's why, and I've said it before on this podcast, so he's already exhausted this point. But my first trade target here is Luther Burden III, I believe. Is it the third?
I don't think it matters.
It doesn't matter because the next 2/3 of your fantasy football season will be dominated by Luther Burden. You have to trade for this guy. And the best part about it is that he is very cheap right now. He has to be. And, I've said it a lot on this podcast already. I've said it in the draft episode, about the sleepers to watch for. He's going to break out at the end of the season. He reminds me so much of Amon-Ra St. Brown's breakout with Ben Johnson just a couple years ago when he was a rookie. He plays in the slot. Ben Johnson loves to target the slot wide receivers. He's already starting to take a little bit of the shares. You saw that he had those 4 targets. He was looking pretty good. And now we have news that DJ Moore is a little bit banged up. He stayed overnight in the hospital. And, he's kind of discontent with the team. So they might trade him away at the trade deadline. You have to think about what the future results are going to be. What do you think in the future, in week 14, week 15? What are we going to see from the Chicago Bears? We might not see DJ Moore there. Luther Burden's already building up his production, so maybe they're going to keep on trusting him more. If you're able to accurately predict or kind of reasonably see an outcome in that a player is going to be able to perform and break out, you should take that opportunity now. And I'm saying, right now, you have to buy Luther Burden. Trade for him now because he's only going to get more and more expensive as time goes on. It's already pressed. He already got a primetime spot, so a lot of eyes are already on him. So like a guy like Scadaboo, forget it. You can't trade for him at this point. Everyone saw him break out on Thursday night. But Burden, right. He showed flashes, but he didn't show the whole, flame. So you can still probably get him for cheap right now.
Yeah, and I definitely want to kind of reiterate the point that you made about DJ Moore getting traded. That if he does ever get traded, the value of Burden skyrockets. Now you're not paying the same price. Obviously, right now, if you trade for him, you could probably get him off for one of your guys on the bench, kind of like a prospect for a prospect, and that's fine. But if he does get traded to DJ Moore, if he does miss time, kind of like extended him out, it's going to be much more expensive. And I kind of want to, lead that into my next person that I have the trade target as, just TreVeyon Henderson. And it's been so frustrating if you're a TreVeyon Henderson owner.
Yep.
But I think, we kind of mentioned a few weeks ago, I think it's about 2 to 3 weeks now, we had our rookie episode. We told you to hold on all your rookies. And since then, Hampton had that huge game. Obviously, now he's hurt. But Genti's been playing a lot better. A lot of these rookies have stepped it up, and we kind of expect the same for TreVeyon Henderson. I do think that the talent will eventually be the main outcome there. He is the best running back they have. And Stevenson is continuing to put the ball on the ground, and he keeps getting rewarded for it, which is the most frustrating thing, especially if you're Mike Rabel, who seems like you'd be like the opposite type of coach who wouldn't really stand for something like that. So it is a lot to deal with, but once he pops, once he has a game where he has, 75% of the workload, something like that, there's no looking back, right? There's no, let me go get him now because you're paying almost 2-3x the price of what it is. And that offense is making a lot of trips to the red zone. It's stuff like that I'm looking at. Like that offense could just be really good. And if he can become the main running back, it's worth the shot, right? And if you're looking at a TreVeyon Henderson owner right now, they're probably displeased with his output. Very few are very patient enough to keep him. So if you go and ask for him, there's a great chance they'll be open to trading for him. And then kind of just like going right into like a guy or players I might trade away. I would look at if you're looking for a Henderson, I would go see if a Hollywood would get it done, or a Worthy. Some of these guys in the Chiefs that might get to take a step back when Rashee Rice comes back this week as the wide receiver 1, which I think he is. Maybe that's where you kind of sell high on Hollywood, right? And then you try to maybe add a little bit, or if it's 1-for-1, try to go get a Henderson. So that's kind of generally what I'm looking at. It's like guys that are going to get affected with players coming in, and then guys that could get a benefit from players leaving. So that's how I usually target my trades. So that's why I kind of came with the Henderson as my pick for the trade target. And the guys I'm trading away are more like that Kelsey, Worthy, Hollywood. And if you're in a really deep league, like a Tyquan Thornton, right? So look at those type of guys to trade away. Just, think about it holistically. Like Matt said originally, it's not just a 1 to 2 week season. Even if you make a trade for 3-4 weeks down the line, that's still halfway through the season. So, try to plan for the future. And I think Henderson is the best bet for that right now, with those Chiefs guys kind of being my main trade away piece.
Yeah, and adding on to the original point of the present versus future day value, a lot of people, again, the fallacy is that a lot of people currently value their player at the present value, which is Henderson sucks. He's not even usable in fantasy football right now. He's not startable, right? So that's how they currently value him. They're not looking ahead. They're not looking towards the future. But if you're able to look towards the future, if you're able to see the future projections, and you're willing to also be patient with that, like these again, Henderson and Burden, they're both low prices. But, there's a reason why. They're not currently productive right now. But if you have the ability to kind of look ahead, look forward, if you're a winning team right now, and you could afford to hold on to one of these guys, then it's much easier to obviously look future facing, right? If you're like 1-5 right now and you need like someone to start right now, that's also, a different story. Maybe you need some more production. But maybe in that case, if you're a losing team and you have these guys, maybe you do need to trade away these guys and get some more startable players, right?
Yeah, 100% agree with you there, Matt.
All right, Gemmar, let's hear this one.
All right, so I've been shuffling a lot of players that should be trade targets, but one that stuck out to me was Kendrick Miller from the Saints. Right now he's RB2 behind Alvin Kamara, and the Saints they should be sellers. They are sellers actually. They should be selling like Kamara to a contending team. I fully expect for them to shop Kamara as well for Kendrick Miller to he's been getting some touches throughout the whole season. He's been getting increased touches. He's in the offense of Kellen Moore being the head coach, who's the offensive mind. So looking forward to the future, I feel you should target Kendrick Miller now while Kamara is still there. His price is still low. So you would see that Kamara would probably not be a part of his team any much longer. That's a big if it gets traded, but I'm kind of banking on Kamara not being a part of that team because he doesn't fit their timeline anymore, in my opinion. So trade for Kendrick Miller.
Yeah, I mean, he's 30, and it's been a little concerning. Like, I looked at the last couple games of Kamara, and it's like the obvious smash starts. Like, Giants are not very good against the run, but he only touched the ball 8 times. So it's very weird what they're doing to Kamara. They've said that they don't want to trade him, but I don't know if that's true at this point, because if he's a 30-year-old running back with a big contract and you're not using him, what are you doing? What are you doing with the team, right? It doesn't really make much sense here because you're not winning games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I don't know what they're doing with Gemmar.
All right. Well, G already mentioned his trade away candidate. I'm just going to quickly go over one of mine. I am going to go with someone that also appeared on Primetime from the same team. And I'm going to use this as kind of a platform for one of my other strategies, which is to trade away players that shined on Primetime that you actually don't believe in. And that's why I think you should trade away DeAndre Swift right now. You can sell him high because he had a great performance. He had a performance I wasn't even expecting him to ever have because I don't think that highly of DeAndre Swift in general, but he looked good. And I'll give him credit for that. But now's the chance for you to sell high on him because he hasn't really looked good over the past couple of games. He kind of got a garbage time touchdown against the Raiders to put his, production over double digits. But now that he's shined on Primetime, a lot of people are going to see that. And a lot of people are going to think, maybe he's the solution to my running back issues right now. I don't think that's really the case. And I think the way you drafted Swift, he's probably one of your RB2, RB3. If he's your RB1, I'm sorry, but maybe you can try to get someone else better for that price because I think people are going to think he's an ascending star. I think he's the same old guy. He just happened to shine on Primetime. So that's a guy I'd trade away.
Wow. That felt a little personal.
More Bears bullying, I guess.
I drafted him in the first round, 3 years ago when he was a Lion? And I think he lost to fucking Jamal Williams or some shit.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Scars don't heal.
Wow, that was deep.
Mm-hmm. With my trade away player, you're going to trade away Ashton Genty. Yes. Top 10 pick Ashton Genty. This is a hot take. He's in an offense. He's in a banged up offense, in my opinion, with Brock Bowers banged up. They got Michael Mayer playing. They got wide receivers like Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, who aren't that special. And he's the only offense that's generating something in that Raiders team. Geno, he's not looking
ass.
the best at all.
He's terrible.
Geno is Geno. They pay me the big bucks, head ass.
They shouldn't have given him that contract, man. An extension already? Didn't they learn from Russell Wilson?
Exactly. So I feel like all eyes are going to be him. They're going to fill up the box. The O-line's already not that good. And Geno's still going to... They're going to force Geno to throw the ball. If I were opposing defenses, just force Geno to throw. We're not going to let Ashton Genty beat us. I don't care if he's Michael Myers standing up. But, he's had a couple good weeks so that his value's high enough. So it'll be a perfect time to trade Genty away while his value's still good.
Yeah, I think it's the game script, right? Like the Raiders, if they're going to be a losing team, probably they're going to pass a lot more. Not a lot of carries for Genty. So it might be a good opportunity to sell high, especially against Tennessee. They're just a bad team in general, so anyone's going to look good on them. And he looked good. And they were able to have a neutral game script there, but going forward, it's probably not great. I think they got Kansas City next, and they're really tough against running backs, so maybe you want to sell high at that point.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those things where you definitely want to wait till the guy has a good week as well to kind of sell high. I think it goes hand in hand with the prime time, right? So if the guy plays on prime time and he has a good game, that's the best time to sell high. And you obviously don't want to sell a guy unless all things and there's an undeclinable trade on the offer. You don't want to sell them low, right? That's the game of the game here. Sell high, buy low, and then, create a team like that.
Yeah, it's all about the current perception. All right, so let's get into some of these fan questions here. A lot of people are asking for trade advice. We are here to give it. So let's start off with an easy one. I don't know if it's easy or not, but Michael Pittman and J.K. Dobbins for Nico Collins in a half PPR. Which side are you choosing?
I have to lean Pittman and Dobbins.
I'm going Pittman and Dobbins too. Yeah.
I default to saying that, but that's so nasty of a trade.
Dobbins and Pittman are at least starters. Nico is a starter, and he has that potential. That's why we drafted him in the first round, but he has not lived up to it. Not totally his fault. That offense is just not very good.
Yeah, I feel like that Texans O-line is he's just dependable. Like, Nico's dependable on that. Like, if they can hold up, CJ will throw the ball to him. It's just, they only had one good game. Yeah.
They can't hold up. That's it.
Exactly.
Zero O-line strategy apparently doesn't work in real life. Zay Flowers for Alvin Kamara.
Zay Flowers for Alvin. I'll take Alvin Kamara.
I am going to stick with Zay. I don't know.
I was going to say, I'm going to stick with Zay too. When Lamar comes back,
that defense is so bad, I feel like they have to pass more. That's the thing. Like, I don't like Zay, but I also don't like Alvin Kamara at this point. I don't know what they're doing with him, and then the uncertainty of the trade, like, it really depends. The player that is going on a trade or usually switches teams halfway through the season, I feel like they don't do very well because they have to adjust so quickly. Like D-Hop, when he went to the Chiefs, I know he was already kind of declining, but he was not that good. I feel like the only successful situation is McCaffrey when he went to the Niners. But
was that midseason?
That was a midseason trade. Yep.
I just feel like Kamara's play style is a little bit safer for a trade. He's going to get past catching. That's a given. So that just leaves him with the safe floor. And then from there, it's kind of like whatever we get. And then if he does stay on the Saints, I'm just like, it's not terrible. Like, it's not the greatest, but it's not like offense is terrible. And it's just not like last year's Saints. I mean, they're still not much better, but they're not, that bad. Zay Flowers, just kind of, the whole pass game, that whole team, I think a couple more losses and they might just pack it all up for this year, and who knows what happens with that team.
Okay, hypothetical. Kamara to the Chargers.
Don't tease me with that. Don't tease me.
I love it. They've been the most pass-happy offense this year, and then you're going to get just check down after check down, and then, I don't know, once in a while maybe throw him on a wheel and you get like a nice Herbert dot to him. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. He's the perfect Eckler role for that team. If he goes to the Chargers, he
Great
will
way to
fill
put
in
that.
that.
Yeah, I 100% think that's a very fair comp, and I think he'd probably be, obviously not as good as Eckler in his prime because Kamara is out of his prime, but he'd be like 85, 90% of it, so that's what I want.
We got a lot of Saquon questions as well in terms of trades. He did not have a good Thursday night game. He hasn't had a pretty great season so far. So all of these will involve Saquon. So, would you trade Saquon for Drake London in PPR?
No.
You wouldn't trade Saquon for Drake London?
No, I'd rather
No.
keep Saquon Barkley.
I disagree. I think Drake London's the only guy in Atlanta, and it's just very easy. Like Saquon, he's the only guy in Philadelphia, but there's something wrong with that offense. They don't know what they're doing at this point.
I just feel like the Falcons are like, they should be a run-heavy offense anyway. How much trust do you have in Michael Penix to pass the ball?
But if he has 165 yards, Drake London will have 164 yards, right? Like,
That's a very, very fair point. But I think their Eagles have to figure this run game out for any type of like success in this last 2/3 of the season. I think they will. I think that Saquon is that pivotal to their offense, and he's going to get it figured out.
well, all these offers later in comparison, if we're already setting the bar at Drake London, Saquon for Ted McMillan and J.K. Dobbins,
I'm keeping Saquon.
Yeah.
I think I'd wait on Saquon for that one. Nico Collins or Rome Odunze for Saquon Barkley.
If I can trade away Nico Collins and get Saquon Barkley, I am doing that 100% of the time.
I was about to say, I'll keep Let me get Saquon.
I agree. Nico, what about Odunze?
Same. I think I would sell high on Odunze because I don't think his value will get higher. It definitely came down a little bit from a couple weeks ago when we talked about him was a wide receiver 2 or something so far in the season. Don't think that'll be the case, but I would still do the trade. I'll just go get Saquon or keep Saquon.
Last question coming in here. Last minute question here. Travion Henderson for Woody Marks and Luther Burden. Who do you think wins that trade?
It's a funny trade.
I mean, we just talked about 2 of these guys, so that's really coincidental.
I would definitely go for the Travion Henderson side. I'm a little bit higher on him as a prospect than Burden. I know Matt's a big Burden guy. I'm a big Henderson guy, so I feel like this is like just kind of a given. Woody Marks is kind of like makes it a little bit more fair. It makes it a little bit more fair if you're like desperate for running back. Like there's potential he could be RB1 there, but it's also like not the greatest offense. So I would slight lean to Travion Henderson. That's just my personal preference, though. I don't think that like I can point to a logical like stat or anything other than just pure gut feeling on that one.
Yeah, as much as I want to hold Henderson, I mean, I just talked about Burden being a big kind of asset. Right now, I think he's a great future asset. I think it's a match of 2 big assets. I mean, they're all rookies also. So it's just a matter of who you think will break out at the end of the season. You obviously have a higher chance between 2 players versus 1 player, but Travion's just explosive. I just feel like once it happens, there's no going back, right? And you don't want to be the guy who gave up on him too soon at this point.
Even for Burden?
Who knows? I don't know. That's like choosing between 2 of my favorite sons right there. Gee, I don't know.
That's a fair point. I don't know, man. We'll see what you end up doing.
Yeah, thanks for the offer, G.
Yeah, no problem. I also sent that offer to you like 5 minutes ago.
I'm dead.
I was checking my phone. I was
now.
checking for the questions. I was like, wait a second.
Live transaction.
I mean, that's a fair offer, no?
I think it is, honestly. And you actually got me. If it wasn't a fair offer, I would have rejected it during the podcast and I wouldn't have mentioned it. But
so there's you're saying you're not accepting it?
I'm saying I'm thinking about it.
Okay,
Gemmar,
cool.
help me out
I'm
here.
trying to get this league interesting. Tell them it's a great trade, Gemmar.
Look, I'm trying to get a trade in too, but I have to get this waiver wire pickup real fast.
Ooh.
Before whoever I pick up at the waiver wire will definitely
Will it get traded away the next day?
It'll factor in on like who I can package.
Not gonna lie, once I tried to make a trade for McYoungboy. This is this season, by the way. I tried to make a trade with McYoungboy at the deadline, right before waivers, and I was really trying to get it going because because he was already in a waiver transaction. Like if McYoungboy didn't accept it, I was gonna cut him, and it did not work out, unfortunately. It was Justin Fields, by the way.
Wow. Oh man, you should have traded him to Mitty.
I tried. He said no too.
Damn.
I know who I'm dealing with. I know who the people
Keep
are.
trying.
That's good.
All right, that was Trade Counsel. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your questions. This probably won't be the last time we will be answering trade questions, so definitely follow us on social media, ask away. We will be there for you. All right, let's get into these Week 7 starts and sits. We did really, really well last week, and we've been doing well for the last 2 weeks, actually. We've had a winning record, double digits, in terms of the correct picks over the last 2 weeks. So I think we are really getting into a groove. I think it's just, all the data that's coming in, now that we kind of understand what's going on this season, it's already a month in, we know exactly what to do at this point. Plus, we're experts at this, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're experts. The last time I was here, I went one bad pick. I went a nice 4-1. That's 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope to continue that here. And I'm going to continue that with the most ugly pick. I might have to say this might be the ugliest start that we've ever had in our 4 years doing starts and sits for this podcast. I'm going Dylan Gabriel against Miami.
Oh,
and it's purely Miami defense thing. They are awful. Point blank, period. At every level of football, they are just awful. And now, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland won this game. I think this might be the signature Dylan Gabriel win.
The only Dylan Gabriel win.
I also want to. I should have said that. The only signature Gabriel win this year was going to come against Miami, and we're going to be like, "Wow, Miami really fucking stinks." And maybe they'll fire McDaniels, they'll fire everybody else after that. But it starts this week with Dylan Gabriel sending Miami to the oblivions of the depths of garbage.
Do you really need me to put Dylan Gabriel on the graphic?
I mean, I think we should put him on because Gemmar's start has probably been on the graphic at least 5 times this week or this year, and it's only week 7.
He has a.
With that being said, Gemmar, go ahead and tell us what should we do with Justin Fields this week?
Look, I think it's been due, and I think this is the week that it's due. That this is the week that you start Justin Fields against the Carolina Panthers. You know why? Because the Carolina Panthers are playing away and not at home.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. If you look at Carolina's schedule, their home games versus their away games is literally night and day. They underperform on the road, and they overperform at home. So I'm just banking on Justin Fields to play well in front of that MetLife crowd. Aaron Glenn to scheme up something for Justin Fields to break out for one game.
This is about one game. He needs you, Justin. No. More than ever.
He's literally swapped every other week or whatever on the starts and sits in our graphic. This is at least the third or fourth time he's been on here. So one of them has to be on the graphic. It's either Dylan Gabriel or Justin Fields. So
pick the prettier one.
The prettier one.
I guess you can put a picture of me up, huh?
Well, these are atrocious picks, and that's why I abstained from the quarterback starts. I've done terribly so far, I think, on them anyway, so I didn't do one this week. I am going to go with a running back start, and instead of thinking Dylan Gabriel is going to carry this team to victory, it's going to be on the back of Quinshon Judkins versus the Miami Dolphins. Miami's defense is terrible everywhere. Agreed. But their run defense is so much worse than their pass defense. And, right now they are allowing 168 yards per game right now. And 192 in their last 3. Rico Dowdle got 200, right?
Yep.
Who did they get? Kimani
Kimani
Vidal?
Vidal.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
He
Shout
went
out.
for like 160 almost, right? Scrimmage yards.
That's
He did.
crazy.
Yep.
Kimani
Crazy.
Vidal.
I didn't know he had that. I didn't know he had it in him either.
I don't think he had that in him. Or he
Exactly.
knew
The
he
Dolphins
had
had
that in him.
it in him. They were pushing him probably, you know?
Maybe their defensive coordinator started Kamani Vidal in fantasy.
I don't know what it is, but Judkins is a premier talented rookie back. If I could trade for him, I would. Hint, hint, G. But he is going to destroy Miami. Absolutely. I'm thinking at least 168 yards. At least.
Holy shit.
At least. Because they don't want to pass. Why would they pass with Gabriel? They want to run. And Judkins is more than good enough. And he's done it against the
168
Vikings.
yards is a fucking prediction, though, bro.
Should I bet that? I honestly might bet that too.
If you bet that, you will be rich if it hits.
Yes, I will. So, okay, lock it in.
The over and under about to hit.
All right. Well, that's fair. Okay. Well, your time to follow that up, Gemmar, and make an even crazier prediction.
Look, you're going to start. This is a bounce back game for Bill Merritt. You know, who doesn't love a bounce back game after having a horrible primetime showing at home against another Bear team? Look, we're going from one defensive team to another defensive team that's just as bad with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, this is a great bounce back game for Bill Merritt to have. Last game, the Dallas just let Rico Dowdle run all over him with how many? Like 150 plus
Yep.
on the
Yeah,
ground?
they got 200.
Scrimmage
Yeah,
yards.
got
Scrimmage
200.
yards. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Dallas ranks last in almost every significant defensive category. I don't know what sports show I watched that on, but it's like points per game, yards per game, rush yards per game, pass yards per game, third down conversion, red zone conversion. They're like either 31st or dead last in every single one of those.
They're like the perfect, fantasy team.
Exactly. This makes more my point where it's going to be a shootout because Dallas knows their defense sucks, so they have to score as much, and that makes the Washington Commanders have to, fire on all cylinders on offense, and that includes Bill Merritt.
I like it.
All right.
Bounce back for the rookie. Love to see it.
Well, not a rookie for my pick here, but is a bounce back from not playing football for the last 6 weeks. Rashee Rice is back, guys. And the reason I told you guys to trade all your Chiefs away is because he is their wide receiver one. I think they will get him active quick, and they will get him back to where he needs to be. I think before he left last year and got hurt, he was, easily their wide receiver one, getting touch after touch. I think that kind of continues this week against none other than the Raiders themselves. It is perfect time for him to come back, get you a touchdown, and get you 8 catches and like 80 yards or something. This is like textbook return game stuff right here. He's gonna have a game. He's gonna come back. They're gonna be like, wow, this offense looks insane now. They have Mahomes, Worthy, Rice, Kelsey, all these guys. It's gonna look good. Rice is wide receiver one. He has been since he's gotten there. I don't think that changes, even though Worthy has been so far. Hollywood was last week. I don't like either of those two more than Rashee Rice, so give me some Rice this weekend.
Yeah, I'm instantly starting him. Like, I don't have a choice. There's a lot of players on my teams that are injured. I've been holding him on the bench for 6 weeks. I'm putting him right into that lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. For my wide receiver start of the week, I am going with the BBL Drizzy versus the Dallas Cowboys. If you don't know who that is Deebo Samuel, the former 49er. And, I haven't always been a fan of Deebo. I will admit it, and I have said so on this podcast. But you can't ignore this matchup right here. And, this goes also for Terry McLaurin, should he return. But, I don't know what the timetable is for that, so I'm going with Deebo. But this really applies to all Washington receivers because Dallas right now, they're terrible against the run, like G said. And they're terrible in every single metric, including wide receivers. And in terms of fantasy points given up to wide receivers this season, they're allowing 27.8 points per game. That's 4 more than any other team. 4 more points than any other team. They have the most touchdowns allowed to wide receivers than any other team. They allowed 2 to Ted McMillan last week, who didn't score a touchdown the entire season up until that point. And he got 2 on them. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I don't understand how you can be that bad on defense and there's like no consequences whatsoever. Like, I get Micah is gone, but that's only part of the problem because Matt Eberflus is there right now. And that's probably a bigger thing that no one's talking about at this moment. He probably should never have had a job. So, either way, still benefits us. Start Debo.
Yeah, well, that's a take. I mean, I feel like that's like a little throwback Thursday for you, right? Debo against the Dallas. I can just imagine I remember that playoff game.
Yeah, he
where he
hates
had
them
like
too.
an end around and bop off 2 guys for a huge touchdown. I think you'll see some of that this week for sure.
Yep. Bounce back Commanders.
Well, you know what that means. It's time for the touchdown tight end guarantee.
Ooh. You've been doing good so
Originally
far.
created by us here. You never copied or stolen from anybody else.
Never heard of it before.
Nope.
Never. But my guarantee is Kyle Pitts. It's been so long. My baby boy. He just had a bad week, but he was getting targeted
He always has a bad week.
A decent amount. Okay, fuck off, Matt. We'll talk to Kyle Pitts like that. Unfortunately for you, Matt, he is going against the San Francisco 49ers, and we just recently found out that Fred Warner is going to be out for the whole year. Surprise to nobody. This is the Niners. They're falling apart by injury or making the Super Bowl. Seems like it might be the first option this year.
Can we do both?
I do not think that's possible, but that would be cool. Kyle Pitts is going to be open. I don't know if D. Winters can guard him. Do have very, very, very huge concerns about their defense now. I'm sure they're going to go all out to stop Bijan, maybe stop London, but that just leaves the middle of the field wide open for Pitts. I can see a little play action touchdown to Pitts in the red zone. So sign me up, Kyle Pitts against the Niners.
If he gets shut down by D. Winters, can we delete him for life?
Yeah, I think that's what we have to call it.
All right, good. At least we'll finally have clarity there.
Yeah.
All right, I am gonna go next. Cade Otton versus Detroit. This is a very easy one for me. There's nobody in Tampa Bay right now. Mike Evans is hurt. Chris Godwin is hurt. And Emeka Egbuka is hurt. Those are the first 3 wide receivers on the team right now. So what are you gonna do? Yeah. And what does that leave open? Well, Tez Johnson. He could be a very interesting start. There's another guy, like R. Johnson. I don't remember his first name, but I know it starts with an R. He caught a touchdown against us last week. Maybe. But Cade Otton has always delivered when Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and everybody else has been out. And against the Detroit secondary right now, who's missing their top 2 cornerbacks, Kirby Joseph got banged up in Sunday night's game. And Brian Branch just got suspended for 1 game for beating up Juju, right? Which, probably deserved. So, Cade Otton, there's such an opportunity there. He's going up against the Detroit secondary that's completely comprised of backups. Safeties aren't there. So, why would you not target him at this moment? I'd probably pick him up in, I'm trying to drop Juwan Johnson right now in a lot of leagues. Cade Otton's going to be my pickup.
Damn, why is this random stray coming at Juwan Johnson?
I am just telling the people, my strategy, man.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. With my touchdown tight end guarantee, you're going to pick Evan Ingram versus the Giants. Now, even though that Giants pass rush is very, very impressive, that just means he has a lot of safety blankets in Evan Ingram to go to. I can see a lot of short passes to Evan Ingram, hopefully for a touchdown. It is going to be for a touchdown. And, and I feel like their chemistry with Bo Nix, it just keeps on growing.
If Dylan wasn't sick right now, he would be even more sick that you just said that because he hates Evan Ingram with all his heart. You probably just killed Dylan right here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Dylan, but I kind of do like Dylan. The pick.
It's a revenge game too.
Oh, that makes it more guaranteed. You already know he's asking for it too. He's like, bro,
I want to beat the Giants.
Let me score on them. I need to score on them right now.
Wow, give it to me, Bo. Well, that concludes our starts of the week. We're going to move on to our sits of the week, and we're going to go to the same game, actually, on the other side of the football. I'm going to sit Jackson Dart versus the Denver Broncos. And he has been an interesting guy, at least on the waiver wire. And maybe you can pick him up this week, but I don't think you should start him at least. Maybe just wait a little bit more, see what's going on, because Denver right now is the second best team against quarterbacks this season. They did well against Jalen Hurts. They did really well against Justin Fields. He didn't even really, I don't think he cracked 50 yards passing the entire game. And maybe that's a Justin Fields thing. Maybe it's just the Denver defense. But right now they've allowed only 4 total passing touchdowns the entire season. I think Jackson Dart comes down to earth a little bit, right? Usually you have a big primetime game, everyone gets all hyped, and then the next game, you kind of just disappoint. And that's fine. Quietly disappear into the, morning games. It's not as bad. And, no one expects them to win. So I don't think I would be brave enough to start Jackson Dart right now.
That is a hard defense, and I feel like that's the easiest way to find quarterback sits. You go to look through the matchups. That's what we essentially do here. We look at the matchups, and like, oh, that's the Denver defense. That's the Houston defense, and that Houston defense is going against Sam Darnold this week. Sam Darnold's never done good against pressure. He always feels like he's seeing ghosts or something, right? Mm-hmm. That was a classic Sam Darnold saying.
So Monday night too, again.
Oh man.
Oh my God,
that's gonna get ugly. It's all right. 7 o'clock
Eastern
here
time,
sucks for you.
Eastern time.
That's
bro.
why Pacific
I love
time
it.
is good.
I love this. This is so great. But yeah, Darnold against the Houston defense. That's going to be a difficult matchup. They've been looking good recently, but even against Jacksonville's defense, he didn't really have the most productive day. Although JSN had a great game, it was like what you kind of mentioned earlier, where if he has 160 yards, he had 159 of them. So
I think that was actually the truth, right? Like he actually had all the yards.
Yeah, he literally had all the yards at one point. Yeah, and they had 100+ yards too, which is quite impressive. I just don't see it against the Houston defense for Seattle this week. They're going to have a tough matchup. They're going to have a tough time getting the ball going. I think almost every Houston game is a very low-scoring game. It feels like every Houston game is in teens. It's like 18-15, 18-12, whatever it is. It just always seems like that. I do not see it changing this week. And then you have my RB sit of the week. I'm following your lead, man. That Denver defense is something to be reckoned with. And Scatterboo just had, 3 touchdowns, 30 points. Usually you have a game like that, the next week you're going to not play as good. I just think that's just relatively how it goes. Expectations are through the roof. You're going against one of the best defenses. What could be the worst thing that happens? I guarantee single-digit points.
Wow. That's a guarantee right there.
Yeah,
Single digits.
We never usually put points to like what we think is going to happen, but yeah, I think Scottaboo will have single-digit points. That's my final prediction for him.
That's PPR?
It doesn't matter.
Wow. That's a tough one. Hey, stick to your guns. We got 2 bold predictions now on this show. That's a hard one to follow up.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
All right. Well, I am going to try to follow up on that. I'm going to go with all the Arizona running backs versus Green Bay. Doesn't matter who the starter is. Doesn't matter if Amari DiMercado or Michael Carter or what's his name, Bam Knight is the starter. You can play musical chairs all you want and report to Adam Schefter, whoever you want as your starter. But it's not going to matter because the Green Bay Packers are the best defense against running backs this season. And guess what? They all suck, honestly. I'm not trying to mince words here, but, I don't think any of them average over 3 yards per carry. So it's really just a volume play, because there's so many players that are out right now. Like, I was going to start Michael Carter because Omarion Hampton on my team is out, and Ricky Pearsall's out, and Xavier Worthy was banged up. So I was considering starting Michael Carter. And then when that whole report came out, I switched to Matthew Golden, and that worked out. But even if I were to start Carter, if I were to start any of those players, and that's the situation you're dealing with right now, try to look at least anywhere else at this point, because I don't think you're going to get more than 8 points at most, unless you get some fall into the end zone for a touchdown. But they literally give it to any running back at that point at the goal line. I think I saw DiMercado got one on Thursday night, Bam Knight got one, Michael Carter got one the week before that, and I think Bam got into the end zone this time. So who knows what's going on there? I'd just stay away.
All right, so my wide receiver sit, it's gonna be my dear player, Ladidi McConkey versus the Colts. Now,
Damn.
look, this is just based on the Chargers' own line because it is literally soft, made of glass,
Whoa.
Play-Doh. You can chew it up like gum. Like, it is
This
non-existent.
is getting a little weird.
A little more central
Look.
than I would have described it.
Look, this is just based on like the own line of the Chargers offense, which is not gonna have a great time versus the Colts pass rush, which means Herbert's not gonna have enough time, not gonna have enough space to deliver the ball to McConkey or any receiver of the Chargers, and it's just gonna. I just feel like the O line, if Joe Alt is not back for the Sunday game, it is wraps for Lad McConkey versus the Colts.
No one knows their team better than, the fan. So when the fan tells you to sit a member of their own team, listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you know them better than we do. Just giving us wrong advice about your own team, I feel like that's like a double negative.
Maybe I'm like, I'm jinxing my team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now we gotta watch out for that.
Yeah. Last 200-yard coming.
Well, we don't have anything for the opposite of a touchdown guarantee, but why don't you guys? Oh wait, I still have my sip for wide receiver. I'm so sorry. It's just a very forgettable matchup here. It's the Patriots versus the Titans. This is a certified mid-off, and I understand no one's being
first place in the division.
Exactly
Patriots.
where I was going to lead. No one's been higher in people's minds than the New England Patriots. They are due for an underwhelming game. I'm not saying for a loss, just an underwhelming game, especially on that offensive side. I think they said the last 5 games, Drake May's had a QBR over 100. That stops this week, and that stops also for Stephon Diggs. He's my sit of the week. I do not see it this week. It's a vibe check. It personally is just a come down to reality moment for the Patriots. They'll still win. It'll be ugly. It's Mike Rabel's return to Tennessee. I'm sure he wants to do everything in his powers to run up the score. And then everybody in the world is going to be betting the Patriots to win because they're going back to Tennessee. Then the Tennessee just fired their coach. It could not be a better game script for Stephon Diggs to have a good game and the Patriots. But that's exactly when you zag, when everybody is zigging. It is common knowledge that when the world is on one side of a bet or of a game of anything, it never works that way. Ask the Bills versus the Falcons. So this week, Stephon Diggs, he's a sit. I do not think that this is a long-term or anything more than just this week. I think they have their bad week. They get back to it next week. That's my sit for this week on wide receiver.
You gotta also count in that head coaching bump. Whenever a coach gets fired, they perform a lot better.
For 1 week. It's always 1 week. Ask Jeff Saturday. It's always 1 week.
Jeff Saturday. Oh my God.
No.
That's a throwback. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think Drake is still gonna show his supremacy, but doesn't have to involve Diggs. So let's go with the tight end sits. As G alluded to, I am gonna go to T.J. Hawkinson versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Fairly simple one. Philly's probably mad at this point. They've been stewing for 10 days, and honestly, they're a very good defense against tight ends. Anyway, they allow the third least right now. T.J. Hawkinson has been very on and off in terms of his involvement in the offense. I think his best game was against the Bengals, and they've allowed the most points to tight ends this season. So it's not really much to look at other than that. So I think that's an easy sit.
Yeah, I mean, with their rookie linebacker has been absolutely fantastic for Philadelphia, and I'm sure that he'll be on a lot of Hawkinson this week. So I think his name is Jaid Campbell, slept in the draft and went to the Eagles. He's been great, and I think he'll do a great job on Hawk this week.
Yeah.
With my tight end sit, it's just like what Matt said about the Arizona running backs. You're going to sit Trey McBride versus the Green Bay Packers.
Oh.
Great defense. I heard Marvin Harrison is in concussion protocol, so I don't know if he's gonna play. You got Kyler Murray. You don't know if he's gonna play either.
Yeah.
You got Jacoby Brissett under center. Are you really gonna trust him under that pressure of the pass rush to get the ball to Trey McBride? I don't trust him at all. So, and he's the only playmaker on Trey McBride. He's the only playmaker on the team that poses the most threat. So the Packers are gonna like key him. Yeah. Key in on him. There you go.
There you go. I wasn't gonna correct you. I was just gonna let you finish. You get it. I don't know if I can endorse that one, but it's certainly a gutsy one. It's a gutsy play right there.
I will not be sitting him in any of my leagues, but once he shits the bed and I wonder why he didn't sit him, I will thank you, Gemmar, for jinxing him.
This is all a big jinx. You never know. All my sits are jinxes.
We used to do that a couple years ago. Every sit and every start would have a correlation to either our fantasy teams or our teams in real life.
Yeah, we actually did do that a couple times. Shame to admit it. But either way, those are our completely accurate and factual starts and sits for week 7. You can see the full list of our starts and sits for every single player and every single matchup on our social medias. You just go to @sports_counsel. It'll be there on Twitter and Threads on Saturday afternoon. So go check it out. That is going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. And once again, join our Discord. The link is in the bio of all our social media platforms. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, fellas, it was a good one. See you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all having me back again.
For sure.
Hopefully this isn't the last time.
Not the last time, Gemmar. See you later, though.
Bye.
Peace.